Who's the scariest Pokemon when you're underleveled? Is it Drake's Salamence? Wallace's Melodic? No, nothing like that. It's Flannery's Torkoal. Okay, I love Pokemon, but it's been a bit too easy for my tastes recently. But I'm bad at Nuzlocke, so I found something else I could do that was difficult. Beating the game at half the hardcore Nuzlocke's level cap. The first three are actually kind of easy, so feel free to skip to Flannery if you get bored. Anyway, I grab a Torchic to make the rival fights easier, kidnap a few Shroomish, and hurl them at Roxanne. A single level 7 Shroomish can break through her team, especially with Effect Spore putting Nosepass to sleep, though that wasn't necessary as I have 5 more. Next up is Brawly, who cannot hit a Sableye at all. This is one of the reasons I chose Emerald for this playthrough, with the main one being the better pickup drops. Anyway, his Makuhita has a citrus berry, so I use Thief to confiscate it so I can grow more and then finish him off after 12 minutes. Because Sableye can't deal damage to save their life. Also, Watson gets destroyed by Geodude with Earthquake from a few TMs I got from pickup. After that is Flannery. Oh my god, she is a pain. This is the first fight that took me days to figure out. She leads Numel as I lead Wingull. I use a hidden power water which isn't guaranteed to kill like it does here, even with a nature and max EVs and IVs. But if it doesn't, Numel will be baited into KOing me with a takedown, which will KO them thanks to recoil. But that's not necessary, so next up is Slugma. I switched to a pre-poisoned Machop who I have use Earthquake to one-shot. I chose Machop instead of Geodude because even though a Guts Machop using Earthquake has identical damage to a Geodude using Earthquake, Machop's extra speed allows it to outspeed and hit her Camerupt with an Earthquake with some investment. From here, Wingull can come back in to finish them off. And last is Torkoal, who, I don't normally like to do this, but there's no way to beat this thing without using a Destiny Bond with Ralts. It's just too bulky, too strong, and you can't even lower its stats due to White Smoke. Overheat just deals so much damage, Body Slams crush you, and White Herb keeps them strong. This is the only time I'm going to use Destiny Bond, as I usually ban it, but Flannery has forced my hand. If you can think of a way to beat her without Destiny Bond, I'd love to hear it though. Maybe if I could get a Flashfire Vulpix? Anyway, next is Norman, whose Spinder can't hit Sableye, meaning that I'm pretty safe with leftovers to heal off confusion damage, meaning that I can slowly beat them to death. But next is Vigoroth, so I have to switch to Aaron, who I've trained to withstand its assault basically forever. I start off with 6 Mud Slaps to reduce the chance of getting Encored into a move I don't want to be Encored into, spam Rock Smash to lower their defense 6 stages, and then finish them off with a few hidden power fightings, making sure to stay healthy with rest and leftovers. Next is Slacking, who hits twice as hard but only once every 2 turns, so the same strategy applies. Mud Slap, Rock Smash, hidden power fighting, die. Last is Linoon, who can't hit Sableye, so I've basically won. But life stops for no one, so it's Winnona time. She leads Swablu as I lead Raichu, who strikes down Swablu with a Thunderbolt. Next is Altaria, so I have to do something a little bit shaky. I switch in Skarmory. Altaria hits really hard with Dragon Breath, but Skarmory can strike back with a hidden power ice. And thanks to a Citrus Berry, Skarmory can heal up. But it's not enough, so we go down. However, Winnona wastes a few turns healing and setting up Dragon Breath, so a second Skarmory can take her out. I had an emergency Skarmory with Roar for if she set up too many Dragon Dances, but she didn't, so it's fine. Next up is Tropius, so I switch in a fresh hidden power ice spamming Skarmory and take them out while taking little damage from Tropius's Aerial Ice. Next up is Pelipper, who gets one shot by a Thunderbolt from Raichu. Now, I could have engaged in another long stalling war with Skarmory versus Skarmory, but I didn't need to, as Battery fires off a Thunderbolt, survives a crit Aerial Ice, and then uses one last Thunderbolt for the win. That's the first time in this challenge I've really had to use a single-use TM, and I didn't even need it in the fight. But it won't be the last as we jump into the fight with Tate and Liza. For this fight, I need to use both a Toxic and a Fake Out on Claydol. Xatu, whose only damaging move can't hit Dark types, hits with a Confuse Ray, but I have a Berry to cure it. Next up, a double Protect with both Nuzleaf and Shiftry for some toxic damage. On the third turn, I set up a Toxic on Xatu and Leech Seed on Claydol as they strike back with a weak Earthquake. Though Xatu's synchronized poisons me back. After another Protect, I switch out both Pokemon for fresh Nuzleafs as Tate and Liza heal Claydol and use a Confuse Ray that is healed by a Berry. Next, a double Fake Out and a double Protect for more Leech Seed and toxic damage. Then I just go for Synthesis as Xatu's Confuse Ray gets healed and Claydol's Earthquake fails to kill. But their time is up as they both fall to Toxic and Leech Seed, so next up, Solrock and Lunatone. I have both Nuzleaf Leech Seed the Solrock in the hopes that one will hit, which ends up working out in my favor. I then fake out Solrock with my new Nuzleaf and switch Shiftry into the Leech Seed slot to heal off some poison damage. Lunatone can't put me to sleep, so it's completely free to fake out Solrock again, and then switch to another Nuzleaf to fake out and Toxic the Solrock. From here I double protect and then just have both Pokemon Leech Seed Lunatone, which whacks. From here it's just a matter of fake outs and protects until Solrock falls and Lunatone can't hit Dark type, so I've won my 7th gym badge. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll consider making more like it. But there's one more to go. Juan. He leads Love Disc as I lead Chinchou, who heals off a Water Pulse Confusion, paralyzes Love Disc with a Thunder Wave, and then falls to another Water Pulse. I actually had to pre-damage Chinchou because Love Disc is so weak. Next up is Kirlia, who hits with a Memento, and if you've watched my last video, you know what's coming next. Absol. Absol sets up a Substitute, which, thanks to the Memento, Love Disc can't break in one hit. From here I protect for Leftovers recovery, use Calm Mind to set up, and substitute whenever it breaks. Once I get to 6, I Baton Pass to Vileplume, who sets up a Sunny Day. From here a Solar Beam kills Love Disc, Celio, Kingdra, and Whiscash. But the sun runs out and with it my Chlorophyll boosted speed. I try to set up another one, but Crawdaunt stops me with a taunt. So fine, be that way. I brought Hidden Power Grasp for this very reason. I've been skipping over the mini-bosses, but I'd like to give a shout out to Wally, who leads Altaria as I lead Skarmory. After a few turns of Aerial Ace and Hidden Power Ice, he switches into Magneton to trap me with Magnet Pull. Apparently the AI does this pretty much all the time, as I ran this fight 10 times and it always did that. But that's all according to Keikaku, as Skarmory falls and I bring in Golem, who strikes down Magneton and baits in Roselia, who I paralyze with Magnemite, Memento with Kirlia, and set up Calm Minds on with Absol. Our Baton Pass sweeper of the day is Gorbis, who sets up a Rain Dance for Swift Swim, and then kills Roselia and Altaria with Hidden Power Ice, and Delcatty and Gardevoir with Surf. And that's the game. If you want to see me fight the League, a link will be in the description. Also in the description will be a more in-depth explanation of the rules and my teams. But with that, I'm Lightheart, and I'm curious. What Pokemon do you think is the strongest when you're underleveled?